El Maestro speaks.
El Maestro Speaks
El Maestro speaks.
Podcast.
All right, so we are recording. How are you guys? Hello. How are you guys? Yeah, guys is an overused word. A lot of people are using it in their blog. I don't want to use that. Anyway, so what I want to do in this episode is I want to share a story. A story that is the same. I mean, comparable to an outlaw story of the United States or the folklore of Robin Hood. I don't know where Robin Hood is. English? Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so this story is the story of Samiklay. And I want to share the story, and then I want to share the element that I think is just, the folklore element of it. And my thoughts on this story and the effect it gave to the community of the Igorots of Benguet. So, Samiklay is a guy that was born in Buges, Benguet, and his father is a Spanish soldier, and his mother is a Kankanaay, accordingly from Asinhong Duan and Palatang Bakulungan, Buges, Benguet. And many believe that Samiklay is a buso. Buso is the term that Igorots in the Benguet province used to call those other Igorots who are headhunters. These are people especially from the province of Bontoc. Back in the olden days, say it again, take note, back in the olden days. No discrimination or whatever here, okay? My wife is from Bontoc, so yeah, but then history will tell us really that was what's happening back then. Back in the day, there are tribes in that place that practice headhunting. There are also tribes, accordingly, in the province of Benguet that practice headhunting. So I think we already discussed that one in one of the episodes of this podcast. So many people believe that he is, maybe because of the crimes, atrocities that he did in some communities that he robbed, but he is not. He is just a guy who loves robbing and apparently killing people. So to continue with their story, he is, like what we said a while ago, a half-breed. His father was a European and his mother was an Igorot. And of course, because of that, he has some different physical traits. I think he is, according to some account, taller than others, have lighter skin than like a skin of those, of course, Europeans, right? White. And, maybe he has blue eyes too, and blonde hair. We don't know, but they said that he is a lot taller and more muscular in build than the natives of that area of Buges. And one thing that's also different from him makes him different is he is more adventurous, daring, and hot-tempered. So while Samiklay is growing up, he started to steal animals from the Kadangyans. Kadangyan is a term for rich people. It's in some part of his community. So steals animals and butcher it, share it with his friends and his relatives and neighbors. Now, when we say relatives and neighbors, your neighbors back in the day, your neighbors are your relatives just the same. So there's no difference really. And after that one, he also, of course, upped the ante by stealing coins from the rich people. That's the same. So and then distributing it again to his friends. Okay, still, of course, saving some for himself, and then distributing it to his neighbors. So that's the activity that started doing that in his community. And then he decided that I think it would be better if I'll go to some places. Maybe we can rob more. We can have more loot if we go to some places. So that's what they did. They went to other places. Let me just check my audio here. All right, back to the story. They went to some places and started robbing some small communities in the mountains. And of course, inflicting crimes while they do those robbings. Okay? And maybe at times decapitating heads. That's why people know him as Buso, right? Now, the difference of a Buso, a headhunter, and to that of Samiklay, if he really did commit that act, headhunting or head decapitation act, is that the headhunting of Buso is revolves around a ceremony, and if Samiklay did such thing, it is just to show or just to plant fear, the seed of fear to the people that they are robbing. All right, so Samiklay's activity continued. So going around the different communities here in Benguet and robbing them, getting their dividing their loot among themselves, and of course going back to the community, and he continued doing that. Okay. For some years, there are some accounts even of him going to the lowlands, doing the same crimes, and then getting whatever they can. Okay, taking whatever they can and bringing them back to their place. And of course the people of the lowlands are of course afraid, and they have every right to be afraid of chasing these bandits to the mountains, because yeah, there might be let's say 80% chance of them not being able to come back to the lowlands if they do. So this activity of Samiklay continued for a while, and there's one time, okay, they were able to go to a place called Kibungan. Okay. So they went to Kibungan and they robbed some place there. Okay. Let me just have my story here. So they robbed some place there and they terrorized some community. And the place of Kibungan is, the people there are not warlike people. They are all farmers, so they're not, during those times have tribal wars prevalent. I mean, it's happening back in those days. But these people in Kibungan are, most of them are farmers. They're not familiar with warring or with the act of war. So when these people, Samiklay came to that area, terrorized the place, they stole some animals, jars, gongs, okay, everything that they can carry, they took it. And accordingly, they also kidnapped some children for ransom. And maybe, they also used the children to carry those things, right? So the people, of course, of Kibungan will have all the right, or were so scared, because they only have bolos and machetes, as compared to the gangs who have the spears, the arrows, the bow and arrows. Maybe some of them have guns, the gun during those era, and they cannot fight back. Yeah. Cut the story short, they cannot fight back. But then, so while these people are going away, one guy named Lumasi, as according to the oral accounts, stood up and convinced some of the abled men, young abled men, to go and fight back and fight Samiklay and his gang. So they did. Okay. So now, when Samiklay came back again to that place and tried to, get some things, maybe not enough for him to still stole from other communities, that he wants to get more, and that's when the battle happened. And miraculously, okay, this group of farmers were able to beat these gangs, and all of them were beaten. And now they were about to kill the leader, Samiklay, when Samiklay kneeled to his knee and pleaded to Lumasi to spare his life. And he said, and he promised, according to the oral accounts, that he will never come back to Kibungan again. Okay. Instead of killing him, Lumas E and this group let him go. And they made him, like I said, they made him promise not to come back to Kibungan again. And in fairness to Samiklay, he never did until his death, right? So he never came back to Kibungan. He honored his promise, or maybe he was scared that he's gonna be killed there if he comes back to that place. So he never came back to Kibungan, but still continued his activities, his robbing activities all over not the country, all over the provinces, going to places, robbing people. And it's back in the day, it's so easy to do that because, if you got a group who is so organized and who is so, well adept to fighting, and it's so easy to just go and rob communities, because some long time ago communities back then is just a group of, let's say, 10, 20 houses. It's very easy for them to do that. Now, so they continue doing that until one day Samiklay heard the news about the money of the municipality of Atok, which is being stored in the municipal treasury, or in the house of, what do you call that one? The municipal hall back then. Now it's called the municipal hall. Back then it's the, maybe municipal treasury. This is just the house then, where the office of the mayor, now, but back then it's called the El Presidente, or the Presidente of the town president is. And Mr. Samiklay heard about this, that there's a money in that place. So they planned to go and rob that house, okay, the municipal treasury. But then, we don't know what happened, but Mr. Palasi, the president of Atok, was able to hear of this plan. And of course, they heard of this and they prepared for such event to happen. Okay. Now, before the raid, Samiklay is, well, he's still in Igorot, so Samiklay do some, what do we call this one? Let me see here. Samiklay do some rituals before attacking or doing his activity. So before he does this activity, it's robbing activity, he will perform what they're calling the buton, okay, where they will butcher chicken, and then a mambunong. I don't know the English of mambunong. I think it's like a shaman. Will check the liver or the bile of the chicken, and from the condition of the bile, he can interpret what's gonna happen in the future, right? So before they were going to attack the municipal treasury of Atok, they performed this, and the first time, I guess, they said that, okay, it is not good. According to the bile of the chicken, if you go there, the activity the raid will not be successful. And I think they did again, and still the bile of the chicken was still saying that the raid is not going to be successful if you do that. And Samiklay ignored the warning of the Mambunong and went on with the plan. So they went and attacked the treasury, and because they did it in the night time, what they did is they burned the houses near the treasury hall, or the municipal treasury, so that they can have a light while they're attacking the municipal treasury. Now, like what I said a while ago, President Palasi is already known, or had already the information about this attack. So they are prepared. They are prepared for the attack. And so while they were going there, the account says that Samiklay went to the treasury. Now, the treasury is a house that's a little bit elevated, okay? And so while Samiklay is climbing the stairs, okay, Mr. Carbonil, the municipal treasurer, is waiting for him, hiding at the lower level of the house. So while Samiklay is climbing the stairs, Mr. Carbonell shot him, and he got hit. And when the bandits saw that their leader was wounded, okay, they retreated. Of course, they took their leader and then they retreated. And while they are moving back, they actually said that they promised actually that they will come back to avenge their leader, or Samiklay. So that is how Samiklay died. And after that, of course, people of Benguet now can live peacefully because there are no more bandits. Well, maybe there are, but no one is as popular as this guy Samiklay. All right, so that's how his life ended. There are some stories, accounts that, according to the seeds of story, that the rest of the bandits of the gang of Samiklay were, caught by law enforcers, and they marked them with X, so people can easily determine that this is one of those bandits that went with Samiklay doing crimes around the province of Benguet. Accordingly, I don't know if that is true. So that is the story of Samiklay. Yeah. Like any other stories of outlaws, he died doing what he loved to do, doing crime. Right? Now, there are some accounts, this is the folkloric element of this story. There are some other accounts that he is like the Robin Hood, that he started stealing for the poor people of his community. And yeah, that he did this crime so he can help his community, so he can help the poor people. And I would say, well, maybe it's true, but who are the members of his community? For sure it's gonna be his family, right? For sure it's gonna be his family, it's gonna be his relatives. So he is a good person to his relatives or to his small community, but just remember the crimes that he did. And take note that he just does not rob. He doesn't rob only. That's not the only activity that he does, like stealing. He also kills people, right? That's why people back then mistakenly identified him as Abuso, because he does that. Even kidnaps children, right? In the municipality of Kibungan, he did that. So it does not justify what he did. If he gives those loots to his community, and for sure his community is just the same, his family, and it does not justify the atrocities that he committed. As in the story of Robin Hood, he only steals, right? He only steals, but never committed such atrocities, such crime. Anyway, so we don't know if that is true, but what is commonly known in all the provinces of Benguet, like there's, like what I told you, the account in the history of Kibungan, is that what is known is that Samiklay is a threat to them, is not just a robber but also a killer, and he is a terrorist. He is terrorist. You hear his name, you hear that he's coming to your village, there's gonna be a terror. Okay, you're gonna feel terrorized, so you gotta prepare, right? So that's what happened in Kibungan, in Atok. They prepared and they got him, right? All right. So, what is the effect of what he did? What's the effect? I heard some accounts back then of people going to other provinces. Like, instead of staying in Bugyas, because Samiklay is from Bugyas, right? So instead of staying there, they're leaving there. But then because of what's happening, okay, they moved out from Bugyas. They tried to go to a very far place. Okay, even going to the lowlands because of Samiklay. So this activity, what he did, is stirs. Well, how can I term this one without? Okay, because Samiklay might have some descendants nowadays that might be offended, but well, it's a story. It happened, you know. Okay, I heard accounts of people going out, moving out because of him. I think even my great grandfather, my great grandfather was from Bugyas, and because of that, just the same, he went away. Okay, went to, well, not so far, went to the municipality of Mankind, a neighboring municipality of Bugyas, but just a little bit far, and stayed there because, accordingly, of this one, community was attacked. So that was the effect. That was the effect to the community of Igorots in Benguet. People were dispersed. People left the place where they were born, and to be safe from this, from these attacks. Those were the effects of Samiklay's activity back in the day. And for sure, I don't know, maybe there are also some, maybe after Samiklay died, some of his bandits tried to continue what they're doing. I don't know, but yeah, he's the one that is so popular. And yeah, that is a story of Samiklay. Some people maybe considered him, actually in this article I was reading, is that it says there that some people do not understand his, which word was that? His principle. Okay, he doesn't understand the very principle which he stood for. Okay? He is being misunderstood, but he is accordingly similarly equal. The objectives are similarly equal to that of Robin Hood's glorious activities, like that. And he is beloved accordingly by researchers. Well, I researched stories of people back in the olden days, but you'd be curious about these stories. You wouldn't love the character. You wouldn't love the character. So, yeah, like what I said a while ago. Yeah, the effect of this one is, okay, the effect of what he did is that it led to what they call the diaspora of several early communities of Benguet. We were scattered all over the place because of that. And maybe some of those people living in the lowlands might not even know that they came from Benguet because of that. Well, anyway, it's part of the story. Okay, and it happened. We're just talking about it now, and just looking back at the effect of what happened back then. Anyway, so that's the story of Samiklay and the effect of his activities. So, we'll be seeing you again in the next episode. This is our Maestro Speaks podcast.